we are back, Real with Omar, Season 3. We are live, and today's special guest I expect to learn a lot from. He is a Forbes accredited, I believe, social media specialist or communication specialist. He is the Godfather of Instagram. He is a multilingual, maybe, marketing genius. Tony Peck. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank
Applause,
you for
please.
having me. There we go. Slow clap.
Applause, please.
What's up, guys?
Tony.
Here. Appreciate you having me on here.
Thanks
Long overdue.
Yeah, absolutely. Long overdue. So I've been watching you for a while. And I know we're going to talk about social media because that is your niche. But what I also want to talk about is, which I find that we have similarities in, is mindset, right? Mindset. So you went to college with an engineering degree, but when did you decide, hey, this is not for me? I know you started like a lip balm thing.
Yeah.
All right, so talk me through that, because I think that's the evolution of an entrepreneur. Yeah. And that's kind of what I want to bring out in this interview.
Absolutely. So before college, let's rewind a little bit, even in high school, I've always been an entrepreneur. I didn't know what that was at the time. It wasn't as popular.
Nobody was talking about that name.
Not even close.
Right.
And I know the OGs, like people like you, like the Gary V's, you guys knew about it. I feel like there was more entrepreneur spirit when you guys were a lot younger. Then I took a L for a few decades and then it popped up again.
Well, we used to call it hustling.
Yeah.
And that's why you hear all that. And that's why I believe those words are interchangeable. But some people don't understand that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with it, 100%. Yeah. Hustling, grinding, entrepreneur, it's all the same stuff. That spirit, what you got to get done, what you need to get done.
Willing to take a risk.
Yep.
Above and beyond anyone else. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so in high school, always entrepreneurial, always doing my own stuff. Whether it was a snow day, I didn't take off. I was shoveling drivers for money.
Right.
I was flipping baseball cards, basketball cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards at the time. I was booking for the kids in high school. I went to Ford and Prep, so the kids' parents had money. So
Shout out to Ford and Prep.
Shout out to Ford and Prep. I go Rams. My business partner still coaches there, so I love Ford and Prep. I liked high school better than college, by the way. So
really?
Big on Ford and Prep.
Okay.
But while I was in school, making money, doing whatever I could. I would go up to Pennsylvania once a month, buy BB guns, resell them to the kids in school because they were illegal in New York. Just hustling, do whatever I could to make money.
And they had disposable income.
Yeah, exactly. They had disposable income. Their parents would give them money for these types of things. But my dad was like, I'll give you food, clothing, shelter. Everything else is on you. We'll go to the movies?
Good luck.
On you. Good luck, exactly. So I'm like, well, we got to learn quick. So I started working before high school. 7th grade, my grandfather's pizzeria, and that's where everything kind of started. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being around people. That's my thing. And then come time for college, you're 18. You got to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life, which I don't agree with. I know a lot of people don't agree with that anymore, especially. But at that point in time, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I just knew I was good at math and science. I wanted to make money, and I don't like school. Right. So I had to find something that wasn't keeping me in school for 10 more years, 12 years. I didn't want to do that. It wasn't about that. But I wanted to do something where I go in, I get a good degree, and I can make money. So I went with engineering, and I went to Manhattan College for that reason, being close to the city, good ties.
Nice school.
Very good school, especially for engineering, and that was like the big appeal to me. But when I got to engineering school freshman year, hanging out with some of my buddies in the dorm room, we having the conversation about how much money like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett makes like per minute.
Right.
And we broke it down. And it was like, these are astronomical numbers, and these are regular people.
And they opened up your eyes.
They opened up my eyes. I was like, I can't believe someone regular from nowhere.
Like, how much?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how much can you make in this span? I was like, well, we're in college. There's a lot of free time on your hands. There's got to be something we can do to make money. And a few of the guys laughed, joked. They never took it too serious. But I was like, I'm going to think of something. So during that freshman year, I didn't get an internship. I applied, never had an interview process in my life. It was a corporate interview setting. I just didn't do it well. So I said, I'm going to start my own thing.
Right.
And I was looking into things here and there, different industries, and I found the beauty industry to be a good market space for me to get into because it was so large and there was a good little niche at the time because
there's always so much money for things that people want.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And at the time, my cousin, she was recently diagnosed with celiac, which is the gluten-free disease. So it's like if gluten touches her, she like gets red, boils, stuff like that. And it wasn't as popular then, the gluten-free stuff, as it is now. This is almost 10 years ago now. And I said, I'm going to make a high-end looking lip balm that guys in suits could use and also women, and it's gluten-free and it's good for you. So I asked the chemical engineering department. I'm a mechanical engineer, by the way, so I'm not even in my field. But
so you went downstairs, like in the school?
Yeah, I went to the school.
You're telling guys, hey guys.
No, I literally went to the head of the department. I said, listen, I want to use the lab to make my own lip balm. And she's like, what? She's like, sure. She's like, what are you doing with this? Like, are you going to sell? I said, yeah, I'm going to start a little business. And she goes, I love the idea. We're going to sponsor you. So they paid for my first batch of ingredients.
Nice.
And that was all fronted. I made my own labels. I would sticker them on at night. I would, fill the lip balm tubes. I came up with the formula after like a few weeks of just being in the lab all day. And I would go dorm room to sell these things. Right. And on the weekends, instead of going out, or if I went out, I would be home a little earlier. I would wake up early at 6 a.m. and I would come up to Westchester and I would do little pop-up shops with all the women and the moms up here.
Wow.
And it taught me so much. Just about sales, relationships, how to communicate with people, simple business things, opening up an account, taxes, write-offs, all that type of stuff. And then I started getting into big box retailers for meetings as a freshman and a sophomore in college.
Wow, so you were taking it to the limit.
I was trying my best. I was just sending out a lot of emails. I would go into like local Trader Joe's stores and I'd be like, hey, do you have a manager? Can I talk to them? And they would say, short
what?
kid. Yeah, exactly. You know, so I was just like, I was shooting at the hip, but I learned how, okay, these older people did not respect me in these meetings, but it gave me so much experience for after this business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I went through the motions in college doing that, and along the way, I started a few other things. You know, I got my real estate license right after college, but during college, I was doing like listings and stuff like that. I was bouncing, bookkeeping, doing homework. You know, I was using the smart kids to do the homework, and I would take the money, I'd get the sale, they get half. I was broker to work, you know. Whatever I could do to make money, I did.
Right.
And while I was in college, I realized, you know, I did an engineering internship for 2 years, but I said to myself, this is not who I am. You know,
not who I and but the end game is for me.
Correct.
Right.
I can't achieve my fullest potential doing this. Being behind a desk and dealing with the same people every single day. That's not me. I'm about being around people. And junior year, I discovered cigars.
Okay.
And I said to myself while I was in college, you know what? I didn't have any hobbies. And I wanted to start doing something that would get me around the people that I wanted to become more like. Like my father, you know, love him. He's the man. Taught me a lot about, you know, who I
What does he do for a living?
He works for Con Ed, union guy, all his life, you know, non-entrepreneurial, doesn't understand that type of stuff. He didn't go to school.
Is he firstborn from the boat? Is he like first generation?
Yes, yep.
Usually the first generations, because they have nothing, they start and they're like, I need stability.
Yeah.
And usually what I'm seeing, like I'm second generation from my mom, and we have more of a open spirit because we're like, all right, it's not that crazy bad.
Yeah.
How far can I take it?
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. For them, it was crazy or bad.
Yeah, they're like, yo, we just want a place to live and eat because this shit's crazy.
And they got the family. You know, they were married earlier, kids earlier, all that type of stuff. So definitely respect it, agree with it. He just didn't know what you don't know, right? Like he didn't go to school, but he's like, you have to go to school to be more successful than me.
Right.
And he was looking out for my best interest, but obviously you just don't know what you don't know. And when I was in school, I started going to these cigar lounges. And because I was in Manhattan College, luckily, the train was right there. So I'd hop on the one train, go into the city, and I started going to Nat Sherman. And I learned something that I still use this day. And this was very important for me back in junior year of college. I went to Nat Sherman for the first few times. None of my friends wanted to come with me. They were like, why am I
kids from college. They didn't understand. They didn't understand.
Why are we going to go hang out with old men? That's what they said to me. They looked at me like, you're going to go hang out with old men for what?
Yeah.
I was like, it's not about that. It's about, you know, what you're going to learn from these guys. And it's picking up a new hobby that's, you know, rich people do. And people that have success smoke cigars. It's just similar. You can't be broke and smoke a cigar. They're expensive.
It's too expensive of a habit. Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely. So I went down there and I didn't have much money, but I grabbed a cigar. I go into the humidor. I asked the guys, like, I got any recommendations? I don't really smoke cigars. I need something light. So he gives me a cigar. And the way Nat Sherman was, too, was so perfect for me being someone that didn't know anyone in cigars yet. Because the layout is, it's not like a typical lounge where you have, like, you know, 2 chairs, 4 chairs, and everyone knows each other. And Nat Sherman, they got the downstairs, which is only for members, and the upstairs is for the public. But they only have like 3 seating areas, and it's like 8 chairs per area.
So everybody has to sit together.
That doesn't know each other.
Right.
Great opportunity for me.
Yeah.
So I would sit down, and I would be with these 6 or 7 older guys, you know, who's 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. And whoever looked like the most receptive to talking or like responding, I would say, hey, excuse me, I heard that was a good cigar. You got any recommendations? I'm new to smoking cigars. And he would go on a tangent.
Right.
And then the next person would jump in. And then the next person, like, oh, how old are you? Oh, you know, I'm 20, 21. Oh, you're my son's age. Oh, you're my daughter's age. What do you do in college? Oh, wow, good for you. You know, blah, blah, blah. What do you want to do? And I started building relationships.
Right.
And by the time I graduated college, I ended up becoming friends with Rudy Giuliani. I smoked with him a bunch of times in college.
Nice.
The owner of Bacardi and the Prince of Finland, all from cigars.
Wow.
You know? So I was like, this is wild.
And Nat Sherman?
At Nat Sherman, I went to Grand Havana a few times. I went to Bar and Books on Lexington Ave, Cigar Inn. So I started bouncing around more and more in the city.
Right.
I stopped going out on weekends.
You started opening your proximity sphere.
Correct. I started just going to the lounges every weekend. Saturday, I would just sit by myself. And I was like, everyone's very social in the cigar lounge, so it's a good community to break into as well.
Yeah. I think people's defenses are down because look, it's a relaxation really. Cigars are like kind of chill you out.
Yeah,
they're there to chill. You're not there to get amped. You're there to mellow.
It's very meditative.
Yeah,
that's how I feel like. You know, I feel like the guys that smoke that they appreciate and they respect that.
Yeah, it's almost like ritual thinking. You go to a place to do something, right? So you go to the cigar lounge to chill, have a drink, unwind, and now you have a young guy coming up to you asking you questions about shit that you love, not shit that you have to deal with all day.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, you get the win, right?
And you know what? Me being their kids' age and their kids not asking these types of things, I think they just like to have someone young that wanted to absorb their information and their knowledge and they could pass it on to. And I'd be that voice all day long to listen to them because that was great for me. And I learned from going to those lounges, one of the biggest things in business is you need to learn how to leverage your disadvantages as your advantage.
Okay.
And by going to these lounges and not knowing anyone and not knowing anything about cigars, instead of sitting there and like being shy and afraid,
being open about it,
I would just say, hey, I don't know anything about cigars. Do you guys have any recommendations? And that was my key in to talking to all these guys and then being open to talking to me first because it was getting that guard down. Like, okay, he's a young dude. He wants to get into cigars. Let's teach him about cigars.
Right.
And that started the relationships off. And then by the time I graduated college, I said, you know what? I think I'm just meant for more. You know, I went to these lounges. I met some amazing guys. You guys are super wealthy. And I didn't have the best GPA in college. I just got through engineering. By no means am I a brainiac, but engineering is a very difficult degree. Anyone that has it, very smart people.
Right.
I give a lot of props to the full-time engineers, the kids I graduated with. But I got through. And when I didn't have any job offers. I didn't apply anywhere. I ended up getting offered 7 jobs from the people I met at the cigar lounges who has a company, whose friend has a company who needs an engine, and they wanted to hire someone they knew.
From your network.
Exactly. And I was like, this is insane. I was like, so if I have that as my backup, me not even applying
So many
anywhere,
people don't know about that. So I had another guest on my podcast a while ago, and he was discussing how the schools are actually set up as networking vehicles, because it's usually proximity. Like I tell my kids, one of my kids that graduates from NYU this year, the other one's graduating Fordham Prep. He wants to go to NYU also. And I tell him, really, it's about school, it is, but it's all about people that you're around, because you have similar families that want something better for their child, and they're within certain economic circumstances, which they kind of align into your pool, and that pool becomes a resource. You you hacked the system when you went directly to the source instead of even meeting the kids to go. You just went right to the source, which is good for you.
Accidentally, honestly. Like I said, the intention was to build a hobby and be around people that I wanted to become like.
Right.
And then this all just stumbled in. Like you said, it is what you make of it, though, too.
Yeah.
Like there could be other kids in my situation that jumped into what I did and they just wouldn't have done it more consistently, and they wouldn't have had any result from it anyway.
Because they weren't authentically doing it.
It's true.
They were doing it just to kind of do
the benefit. Yeah.
Right.
I know what the benefit would be.
Right.
I just knew I might learn something. You know, that to me that was enough.
Right.
Instead of reading a book, I'm going to go dive into these guys that have done the stuff that I'm reading the book anyway.
These guys are 20 years ahead in time, or 30 or 40,
Yeah.
whatever. And that experience, man, that's why people need coaches, right?
Yeah.
You take my 40 years experience and you're like, yo, I can teach you, and you can skip 40 years.
100%.
Think about that.
It's so true. I matured so quickly through the last 2 years of college and plus the 2 post years graduating that when I started meeting adults and I had the business, I was more professional than most of them.
You're more poised. Yeah, I got you.
It was like, wow, how old are you? You're only this young?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yeah. And it was just because I'm surrounding myself every weekend with guys that are 40, 50, 60 years old.
Right, so you're not acting like a 21-year-old anymore.
Correct. You know what not to ask. You know how to talk. You know what to bring up. You know when not to talk anymore. That's a big thing too.
That's
like,
a big
when
thing.
to talk, when not to talk.
Yeah.
And you don't learn that. That's not a school thing.
Yeah.
You know, or taxes.
You're talking about EQ right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emotional, 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree with that. I think we're going to get into it a little more into social media, where the interaction is different, and what you did reminds me of a lot of stuff that I did, and the one-to-one, in my business, which is real estate and financing, the sit-down is number one, right? You can you can meet them on the text. This guy recommended you. If you sit down with a client, there's a 99% chance they're going to close with 100%. You, because they just feel that they feel that kindredship with you. And I think you took that, and then what you did was you kind of found a way to leverage it exponentially with social media.
Yeah, I think you brought a fantastic point. And for people that are listening that already know me or may not know me, I live on social media. Right. You know, you check my screen time, I'm on the phone 14 to 16 hours a day, but that does not distray me from, like my competition, they keep everything digital. You know, people in different states are completely digital. They don't have clients that they sit and meet with. Me, my priority is to connect with people online, but take them offline immediately.
Right.
And that's something that people at my age, they don't like to do often.
Right. Why do you think that is?
Comfortable. It's just the comfortability of being around people. They're just not used to, because you're going to get more pushback, you're going to get more objections in person, you're going to have to deal with their personality, their energy. Most people can't match those types of things.
Right.
And if you're in sales, and you know this too, you almost have to kind of be a chameleon. If someone's a little melancholy that day, you might have to lift them up a little bit. You know, if someone's really high energy, you know, you got to match their high energy. And a lot of people can't play to those vibes.
You got to speak in the vernacular, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely. But that's a good point you bring up, because I never thought of it that way. I think you're spot on with that one, where there's a fear of rejection. And the truth of it is, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
No? All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Next.
You know what helped me getting past the fear of the no? Because listen, I think it's a thing that everyone's going to have in their sales journey. At some point, you're going to be
especially in the
fearful
beginning. It's because you have no base. You have no
Correct.
base, and you're like, yo, this is
You
my
need the
only
money.
shot. Right.
But when you stop focusing on, and even if you need the money, and this is the hardest thing to do, I believe personally, that even if you need the money, you have to really pretend. Regardless, like if you don't need the money, you have to act like you don't need the money. You treat that person that you're meeting with. It doesn't matter if they close or not, because you don't know if they're going to be able to refer you your next big deal, or if they're going to become your client in 5 years. If you're not playing for the short term, that no means nothing to you, because that could just be a temporary no.
Right. So what we should tell our listeners to believe in, and I think me and you align on this, is that your time is an investment, right? You can't metric it by dollars and closings.
Correct.
You have to measure it by, yo, what did I grow today?
Yeah.
And and if it doesn't close today, like you said, in 2 years or 1 year, or you know what, I saw what Tony did with somebody else. I'm gonna hit him up because I kind of like that. I want, you know what I'm saying? And you have to leave people with a good vibration, a good feeling.
Just because you didn't get that close with that one person,
at the moment,
it didn't become something else in the future,
right?
Or even in the short term, you don't know.
Right.
They might refer you to someone instantly, or they may just like you so much they become a long-time follower and buy your book when you drop a book,
right?
Or they buy your merch eventually because they're like, I'll buy one of his low-ticket items because I support the kid. He was a good dude,
right?
And I've seen that happen to me so many times that I don't look at any lost deal or any no as me wasting my time, because at some point in time I get something out of it, they get something out of it. It's a symbiotic relationship, and I'm just so big on that if I met you and I already spent 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours to really talk to you and know you, there's no reason for me to just cross you off the list now and never talk to you again because you didn't close the deal.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of younger kids have the issue with, because they're like, oh, I wasted my time. They don't want to close. On to the next one. That's the worst thing you can do.
That is one way of looking at it. But the other, I will tell you though, that is a sales tactic for management. For certain corporations, they teach them, churn and burn.
Yeah.
Just
100%.
next. They don't teach them the long game.
Correct.
Right. Because they and I'm going to say this, and I might get some pushback, because they're usually dealing with a certain type of IQ that can only comprehend a transaction in this form. They can't comprehend the macro, right? The big game.
100%.
Yeah, the big game.
And that's what separates the big from the little, I think, personally, is thinking really for the long term.
That's the 90% and the 10%, man. That's the big separator right there.
Yeah. Look, I think this is a good example. Me and you. We don't do direct business together. We don't put money in each other's pockets. But, we talk all the time. We stay in touch.
There's
we
mutual
support
respect.
each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's the biggest thing. We still have a relationship.
Right.
I see you out.
I believe that comes, though, that definitely comes from an abundance mindset because, people sometimes think, fuck that. Dude, man. If he wins, you should look at it as your win, right? And it might not be a direct to your pocket win, but that's my homie.
That's my boy. Exactly.
Yeah, that's my homie. Exactly. Lift each other up. There's enough. Like I say this all the time. There's enough sun for everybody.
100%.
People don't be like, oh no, and I'm like, look, there's like 10 billion people on Earth.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me he has the only clients? I'm like I was like, yo, go get another client.
Correct.
You'll be fine.
Exactly.
You'll be fine. So I have 6 agents and I have 6 loan officers.
Okay.
I don't know why everything is 6, but that's the conversation I kind of have with them because I'm like, look, don't worry about that. All right. So if he got the client, you know what? I'll pair them. I'll be like, all right, you guys both knew this client. Work on the deal together, and then I'll chop it up and whatever. That I'm trying to show camaraderie, right? And it should be. Yo, man, if I don't get it, you get it. I'm happy for you.
Collab, not compete. Yeah.
There you go. Collab, not compete.
That's what it's about. Absolutely. And you never know too. Like even the way I look at things, we might have to do business now. We may do business. Maybe we get into
there might be a bigger. There might be a bigger project.
Correct. Something that's not even in my wheelhouse or your wheelhouse. You're like, hey, let's have a restaurant together because me and you really like Cuban food. And we keep going out to Cuban spots. Let's do our own thing. We're boys.
Right.
Like that's how I look at things.
Right.
Because this is not for the short term. I'm going to be in business till the day I die.
Right.
So hopefully over the next 70 years, everything just keeps growing and everyone around me grows along with me. And that's the end goal for me. And you never know what people's roles are going to be in your life, whether it's large, small, middle, in between, supportive, client, friend. You just don't know.
I mean, usually you can tell. Like I posted something yesterday. I don't know if you saw that. Like all clients are not good clients.
Yes.
And it's just straight up. It's like, look, meeting people. You're not married, but if there was a good vibe, then you continue that, right? You stay in touch, whatever. You jump on each other's podcasts. If you don't, that's cool too, because at least like the one thing I think about social media for me, the big aha moment was, I was like, all right, so I was doing a lot of organizational work. That's how I met you.
Yep.
I was doing event coordinating and shit like that as the president of a chapter, and I just felt like it wasn't really beneficial. It was not effective or efficient, right? So then I was thinking, if I do social media, then if they like me, they'll find me. And if they don't like me, they won't call me.
Correct.
Which is a win.
Yeah, you're qualified.
Yeah, I'm losing. I'm not losing any time,
you're
right? Because a lot of people, you might say something that they don't like.
He curses, good. We're not good fit anyway.
See you later. Yeah, because we're just like delaying the inevitable. We shouldn't work together. We don't have the same principles. And like I'd rather do this way, and then people know kind of who I am, and then they'll be like, I want to work with him, or I don't like that guy, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's a tough way to think though, because one of the biggest questions I get asked for social media is, how do I get on social, and what should I start my brand to be about? And the biggest thing is you want to just be you. And most people are afraid to be them because if they are themselves, they think it's going to dissuade people to want to work with them, like you said. Right. Which, if you look at it in the positive light, that if they don't want to work with you based on who you are, you shouldn't want to work with that person because they genuinely don't like you. Yeah. So if you're starting on social media, you should not pretend to be someone you're not for the sake of getting more views, getting more likes, getting more people to want to do work with you. Be who you are, and you're going to attract the people that do want you and like you because of who you are. And that's the power of social.
And let me give you a spoiler alert, guys. We can see through that shit. Like I've seen people, I'm like, yo, he doesn't talk like that.
Yeah.
Yo, who is that guy? Yeah. So now you're like, oh, this guy's full of shit. And then it's
you
through
write
a camera.
him off right there.
Yeah, and then you don't want to deal with him because now all of a sudden he's not authentic. Right?
Correct.
Now you're like, this guy's full of shit on camera. Yeah. Imagine behind the scenes.
What is he going to do off camera?
Right.
Like the biggest compliment I get like offline is when I'm running into someone that they meet me from social media in person. You're exactly who you are on
They're
social
like, you're
media.
you.
Yeah. And I'm like, thank you. That means the world to me because like if I curse, I'm cursing on social.
Right.
If I smoke, I smoke. Like have my mannerisms the same mannerisms.
That's my thing.
That's who I am, man. Like you can't hide that because the way I thought about it too, I don't know. And God bless young Tony for thinking of this because this was really like thinking for the future. I said, God forbid I blow up and I get large, and I'm not someone I'm supposed to be.
I gotta hide shit.
Yeah, like I can't do that. I don't want to do
double
that.
life. Yeah.
And that's why from the start I said, you know, I'm just gonna be me. I'm gonna wear my tracksuit, show the jewelry, show the cash. I'm gonna curse. I'm gonna be myself. Whoever doesn't like me doesn't like me. I'm not gonna appease everyone anyway.
Absolutely.
But there's enough people in this world that are gonna like
5 billion, more or less. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's odds are good.
What would you do with 10% of that? You know, like you would be overwhelmed. You couldn't handle all that.
Odds are good. I don't know. It's like 5 or 10 million in New York City alone. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You're
bro.
completely fine. There's enough
but
people to go around.
let me ask you a question. So you're a social media strategist and an expert. When you take on a new client, do you ever get this? Like, I'll give you an example on my side. Sure. Like I'll take, I speak to clients all day. Some clients are ready right now. Some clients might have some challenges on their credit. That's okay. I'll coach you through that. Some clients don't have enough money in the bank. That's okay. I'll coach you through that. I'll coach them through anything as long as they understand I'm coaching you because you don't qualify right now, right? That's me. That's my side. Now, on your side, how many times you let's say on a Thursday you sign up a client and by Monday, like, why don't I have 10 million followers? Do you get that?
In the beginning, we got that a lot more.
Okay.
I think as the business has progressed and the clients we've gotten have progressed, we've been bringing on clients that have different mentalities. They're more similar to understanding it's a long-term game.
Right.
And the expectation on my end as a salesperson has been better set to suit them for what they were expecting prior. Okay. That it gets debunked before we begin. So before I go into these meetings, before they sign contract, before they start working with us, there's expectations set at the starting line. Right. We're not getting you 10 million followers overnight. Right. This is the reason. This is why it doesn't matter. You're not going for this. You're going for this. We do a strategy session to figure out what's your goal.
Did you learn that as you went along?
Correct. Yeah. You don't learn that in the beginning. It's very difficult to facilitate that.
In the beginning of social media, it was like the Wild West.
Everything was never enough to the clients in the beginning, which was frustrating because we were delivering a fantastic service in the early game, and it was a very cheap product. It was 150 a month was our lowest thing. You'd sign on, and you would pay me 150 a month. I would log into your account. I would go follow people and engage on their accounts on your behalf in the local area. So you would gain like 250 to 400 local followers every month, and that wasn't enough for people. And they were like, "Hey, I'm not making a lot of money from this. You're paying me 150 a month." You have to now DM these people. Like, you're not paying me to do anything else but engage with followers. So it's like people really think social media is that magic secret thing that you just take this fucking pill, you wake up and boom, you have all this business and all this money coming to you, but you didn't know work for it. And I want to definitely debunk that myth right now because if you're someone that's listening and you've been in business and you've been growing a business for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, it's taking you that long to build your offline brand. Don't think social media is overnight. It's going to build online. You're starting from nothing again. If you have no social media presence, just because you're known in person,
new kid on the block,
doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. So it's like you got to take the mentality of, if it took me 30 years to build offline, will it be faster online? Absolutely faster. Faster, it's not going to be overnight.
And the reach is astronomical.
Astronomical more.
Absolutely.
But it may take you 10 years versus 30 years. So it's still faster than what it did offline, but it's not. I'm going to give you guys 1 month to prove yourselves. That doesn't do anything for us. We can't help you in 1 month. It cannot do it. I've been doing this for 6 years.
I think I want to say this. I think that what people have to understand is that social media is a supplement to an already existing business model. And spoiler alert again, if your shit sucks, they're going to find out faster.
100%.
And it's not his fault.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's your service. That's the thing. You did this. You did. I didn't do anything, bro. Like, this is what you do.
This is you.
Like, I just brought him here.
Your follow-up sucks. Your sales process sucks. You can't.
Have you had that conversation? Oh,
many times. Yeah,
in a nice way though.
Because I'm I become very friendly with all the clients. So I'll get like annoyed with them. I'm like, we brought you the lead. That's not my fault. You don't know how to close the lead.
Yeah.
Oh, I called them once. They didn't answer. I call people 10 times if they like. I don't stop.
You call so they pick up, bro.
Because a lot of these people, and this is why I'm starting to learn too. This is something also comes with experience. You don't know off the rip. A lot of these businesses we deal with, they are very good at what they do, but nothing else. So attorneys, accountants, financial advisors, even mortgage people we work with, they're very good at what they do in that industry, but they never had to deal with following up with leads because they just got a lot of referrals, and most of the time for what they did, the referral was coming at a point they were ready to close.
Referrals are usually they call layovers. I believe that's the term where the people just lay over. They're like, whatever you need to do, we got to do it. Let's do it.
Oh, Tony referred you to me? Okay, cool.
I need you to close this deal. That's it. Yeah.
So when you're coming from that's your entire business to now I'm going to give you a cold lead that just opted into a form for you to contact them, and you try them one time and they don't answer, you get frustrated. It's not the mentality to have.
Well, let's talk about this though. You get a form. I do a lot of stuff with my guys in brand awareness. My last 2 years have been brand awareness. I just recently started targeting with ads and stuff to get people to call me directly. Even if you call and they're not interested, it goes back to what we spoke about earlier. So, establish a relationship. Hey man, be a resource. Yeah. Right? Hey man, all right, you're not ready today?
What do you need?
Let me know. Here's my number, whatever you need. But that then becomes the second part of the job. Like, yo, dude, it's not going to be just what I call a cold slam, where you call somebody and you get the deal, right? It's not like that. But people think because they spend whatever amount of money they're spending that it's an auto. It's not an auto. Correct. It's a supplement. It's increasing your reach. What you don't understand is that Is it like how many times have I gone? I was on the street the other day. Hey man, you're the lone guy. Oh, your T-shirt. Yeah, your T-shirt. Like, yeah man. Yeah,
it's wild. Like you're a regular guy.
Yeah.
You got recognized in public. Like let's think about the macro of that. You're a regular guy on the street. You got recognized in public.
I see your T-shirt.
You're not a celebrity.
No.
You're not on TV.
No.
You got recognized for social media.
Yo, man, yesterday somebody called me the GOAT. Man. My head is really big right now. He was like, you get the GOAT. You didn't get it done. I'm like, okay. I've been following you a long time. I was like, thanks, man. I
That's
appreciate
like the best thing to hear, though. It's like, wow, this is working.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, like you said, though, if they don't see, like we deal with clients all the time, they're thinking too short term. Even though they think of everything else they deal with long term, even if it's industry, they think of what we do, social media, is such a short term gain where I spent this amount. Why am I not getting the return this month?
All right, let me help you out right now with your clients right now. All right, guys, pay attention. So what Tony and his team are going to do is they're going to increase your awareness. What's going to happen, because I'm telling you from experience what's happened with me, is that usually your immediate circle takes notice and you're top of mind. I had a good friend of mine. He lives in Ohio. He saw one of my things on Facebook, and he called me. He goes, yo, I got to refund my house in the Bronx. Quicken just called me, but fuck him. I saw Omar. You doing it, kid? You doing it? Real story.
Yeah.
Another client, 10 years after I closed her, calls me up one day and she's like, hey, Louis, it's me. I'm like, hey, what's going on? She's like, listen, I got this house, I got this property in Brooklyn. I need to pull out $1 million something out of it. I'm like, I bet, I got you. And then we're doing it, and she flies in from Florida. She lives in Florida now. She's a realtor out there. She flies into New York, and we're closing, and she's a Dominican girl. And I said, yo, thank you for thinking of me. Yeah. It was dope. I haven't seen you in a decade. Yeah. I was like, yo, how'd you remember me? Yeah. You know, I'm flattered. I don't want you. I'm grateful.
I know how. Yeah.
She was like, remember 10 years ago, you told me to follow you on LinkedIn.
Stop it.
I swear to God. She goes, so wow. I've been watching your LinkedIn content, and every time you talk about loans, I think about when I need something, I'm gonna call him. I ended up doing 2 deals. We pulled out $1.5 million from that house. We bought another house in Florida that's now worth $1.5. She bought it for $550.
Wow.
She got rehabbed it. Florida's on fire right now.
Yeah, it is.
But the crazy thing is, it was like, you know, like it's all, that's what happens first, guys. Mm-hmm. Like your existing base will start recognizing you as more of an authority, and then you'll be at top of mind.
Yep.
My boy, I got it from Stulak. Toma, top of mind association. They'll be like, oh shit, let me call him.
Yep.
And then that'll happen. Eventually,
you get the new people.
What happened to me recently was a guy hit me up on Instagram. He's like, hey man, I got denied by 3 lenders. I have a situation. So I was like, well, I threw him a couple of parameters. Like, this is my minimum loan amount. Da, 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 da. Do you fit those parameters? He goes, yes. I go, I'll hit you on the call in 20 minutes. I was doing something. I call him. I saw what they did. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get into no fights. Shout out to Triple Play with other lenders. And so I said, yo, man, this is bullshit. I think that's bullshit. I think what they did was bullshit. But here's the offer. He's like, bet. I need it. You know, I don't want to go into too much of his personal shit. I need it. 18 days later, we closed.
Wow.
So that's where it will go. But going back to what you just said, because I want to unpack all the shit we're saying. We're not just talking to talk. The follow-up.
Yep.
He hit me on a DM. I hit him back.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, yo, I hit him back 2 days later. I hit him back immediately.
Yeah.
Said, look, I'm with somebody. I can't talk right now, but text me what you're talking about. I can figure it out, and I can give you a quick up or down. And, it turned into a nice commission.
You brought up 2 great points. One of them being is specifically that aside from being top of mind people that know you, not using social media is detrimental because you're going to lose business to people that forget what you do, that already know you. Like, listen, it's no one's job to wake up in the morning and think, Tony does social media, let me use him when I'm doing it. You're not going to think of that unless you see me every single day. And this goes to your Facebook friends that you've had for several years.
And there's no way you can call everybody you know every day.
Listen, Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's are my busiest days of the year. I sit on my phone all day long, literally on the phone for like 18 hours. And I just reach out to every single person I have a relationship with. I go through my contacts. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll say something personal. Grateful for you. Thank you. Hope you have a great holiday with your family. And this year I did like 937 texts. And it took me the entire day. And then they all hit you back. So then you're having a conversation with them. It's not physically possible to do that on a daily, weekly, monthly, or even quarterly basis. Like it drains me on Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's my holiday. I don't really spend much time. I eat real quick and then I'm on the couch just sending them all day long.
Right.
And that's something that you cannot do that sustainably. For the entire year to stay front, like the best way to do social media.
I'm sure there's text apps right now that can kind of centralize. I think Gary uses
but it's not personal.
Right.
That's the difference.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. But the second law, how many followers do you have on Instagram?
360,000.
How the fuck are you going to talk to 360,000?
Not physically possible.
Yeah,
it's literally not physically possible.
No. Yeah, like it's like
I have
20 seconds each.
DMs,
What's up, yo? I love you. Bye.
Yeah, that's it. Done. That's as much as you're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
So having the social media where you're watching hundreds, thousands of people can watch your stories every day and your posts, and you're going to be top in mind.
But they feel connected. They feel like they know what you're doing.
Correct. Most people, when I see them, I haven't seen them for a while, or even if I know them, they never ask me what I've been up to.
Right. They know they're watching.
They're like, I saw this, and they talk about something specifically they saw me do.
Right.
Which is wild. And it's funny. And I didn't think about this recently until I was at a White Plains toy drive, And I ran into these two guys that I know when I was in real estate after college. I got my license.
Okay. Let's unpack that for a second because I'm in that game. How long were you in real estate and where did you work?
6 months, Houlihan Lawrence up in Chappaqua.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I did, yeah. I said, you know what? I want to be around where the money is.
Yeah.
I was a Bronx kid.
Smart.
Didn't really go to Westchester too much, by the way, in high school or college.
Okay.
Literally the last 2.5 years is when I've pretty much been in Westchester the most of the time. So then I said, you know what? Let's go to Chappaqua. I want to see some nice houses. That's where the money is.
The Clintons.
Yeah, it's like money.
Yeah.
And I went over there and I learned a bunch, made a bunch of relationships. I'm still friends with a lot of people from my broker from there. He's now the broker at Sotheby's in Scarsdale. He runs that whole team now. They're one of the highest producing real estate offices in Westchester. We're still good friends, do a lot of business with him.
Right.
And two of the guys I dealt with, an attorney and a mortgage broker. Neither of them have Instagram. And I've been good friends with them. Like I used to go out to the events with them and stuff. And they saw me at this event, the other week. And it was the first time, and I want to say about 2 years, maybe even a little bit more, that someone came up to me and they're like, Tone, how have you been? What do you got going on?
And you're like, what?
What's that logo?
Really?
I'm like, what's that logo? What? I'm offended.
What's your number?
I text Fran, my partner, and I'm like, this is the first time this has happened that I've ran into someone that knows me that doesn't know what's going on. And I'm like, it's like, holy shit. Like, I never realized how many people did realize what was going on.
Right.
Till someone comes up and says, what have you been up to?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I haven't heard that in a while.
I mean, look,
that's the power of social.
You can deep dive into that even more.
Yeah.
You can deep dive, and I'll talk about the Latin community for a second, where Instagram is more, I believe, for like your 20 to 35-year-old. Facebook now. Anybody over 35, that's where they're hanging. So if you're not at Facebook, it's like I could have 10 million people on Instagram.
Yeah.
And my family, who's on Facebook, they'll be like, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yo, who are you?
Yeah, literally. 100. I've seen it time and time again.
Yeah. And you're like, what?
Yep.
Yeah, you don't follow? So they're like, no. So I've made a conscious decision to be more active on Facebook now.
Yeah, me and you both. I try to deal with Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I dabble into TikTok here and there when I can.
Yeah. It's
I haven't made money on it.
It's a full-time job, bro.
Each platform is like a full-time job in and of itself. So it's really where you want to dedicate your energy. Plus, I'm also in the industry, so I probably do way more than the regular person. I know I do way more than the regular person, but that's also by default because of what I do.
Yeah.
But,
business card.
But listen, a lot of people listen, they may be overwhelmed. Like, oh, guys, I can't be on all these platforms. What am I going to do?
But that's why you hire him.
Well, that's one. But two, if you're starting out and you can't hire us, the best way I look at it is pick one platform that you like the way the content is suited for. So, like, if you like to write, use LinkedIn, write blog posts, right? If you like photos, you want to take photos of yourself, use Facebook, use Instagram. You want to take videos, do a little TikTok, do a little Instagram, throw it everywhere else.
Even more better, organically, where you spend your time is where you should produce content.
Correct.
Because those are people that are like you.
So you start from there, you build that following, and then you get another platform.
Right.
Then you bring those followers to that next platform.
So you get an anchor pillar, like a pillar platform, and then you move forward.
Build up a little confidence. I can do this. I can be consistent. I can post. I can create. I can engage. And then when you get to that point, then you get another platform. Then you keep building from there. And that's what I did. Like my first platform was Instagram. That was it. I didn't do anything else.
Right.
And then from there, you know what? Let me start LinkedIn. And then boom, I saw my followers there. Oh, let me do Facebook a little more. Send people there. TikTok.
What's crazy is that LinkedIn's been around before Instagram.
Yeah.
Going back to my 10-year ago story. And then now it's more, the proliferation is like the usage is way up.
Yeah.
So now you got to be up there a lot more.
100%.
But I'm used to it. I think, and let me give you a little story on my side. So I forgot what it was. I did the free trial for premium.
Okay.
It's like 30 days. And then they charged me $700. So I was like, tight for a second.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it costs for the yearly membership.
Oh,
premium.
okay, that's a monthly.
Right. No. I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, yo, I got to get my money's worth. That's when I started posting hard. No, but it just goes to show you how it kind of got me. I was like, you know what? Since I paid for it, now I'm going to fucking go.
You know what I understand? This is very interesting to bring up, especially with people that have dealt with in social media. Not so much in the recently, maybe in the past year, though, or so, year and a half. We have people that pay us to do social media. We're not cheap by any means. We're in thousands, some clients a month, some 10,000s. It depends on what they're doing with us, obviously, but we're not cheap by any means. We deliver a quality service, and that's what we stand by. You can only help so many people at a quality level.
Right.
So we've had people that sign on with us, and they're ready to embark on this journey. We look at it as a partnership, right? We're pretty much an in-house marketing team that's just not in-house physically. But we're here every step of the way to help you throughout stuff. You got questions any hour of the day, weekends, holiday, doesn't matter. We're here available for you. We're walking you through. You have a question, you're concerned, bring it up to us. But you also have a job on your end. Right. We're not with you every single day. You're responsible to be putting out stories of your day-to-day. You have to answer comments if we're not managing your page. And you got to answer your DMs when DMs come in. Don't leave business hanging, like you said. Whether you get back to them, you got back to them very fast. If it's a day, whatever. Yeah. But don't let the DM hang in the inbox for 2 weeks when you only get 7 DMs a month. Like, to me, it's asinine. And if you're only getting 2 comments,
it's part of the job.
People are like, oh, I'm not going to answer the comments because there's only 2. That's why you should be answering them. Yeah. Because when you have 80 of them, you're not going to answer them either.
Like, a good example would be like if you're having a conversation with somebody says something and you don't respond.
Yeah. It's like, what?
Bro, that's the most awkward shit in the room.
I'm not going to talk to you again. I'm not going to want to comment on your shit again. Why would I comment on you again? You didn't answer me the first time.
There you go.
But what I've seen people do is they work with us. we're doing everything that we can. You know, we're managing the page, we're doing the content.
You make it
we'll do
look
ads,
fresh.
doing great,
it.
and they're not doing any of their part. They're not contributing, and like we'll still do at minimum stories on a weekly basis for them.
Okay.
But we can only do so many because it's just content we create on a monthly basis,
Right.
and then we'll repost stuff. We'll do but then what's your day to day? You're not showing them. We're teaching them what to show. They don't. Then they stop working with us,
And they're mad at you.
and then they start stories. Why would you start now? You have nothing else doing that. Now you're not posting. You're not doing anything else. And now you start your story.
they left you and they want to show you that
wild.
they're going to be successful without you.
I guess so, but it's like you're paying. And I look at it this way: when you pay for something, it holds you more accountable. I truly believe in that. I've seen it with free events.
I just gave you my LinkedIn fucking.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I got to use this shit now.
Yeah, you're great. That's a great. I think that's a fantastic. You paid for it. Now you're holding yourself
And
accountable.
I remember the price.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
What's this charge? And I was like, well, I gotta. It told me I can do more in-mail connections, so I just started.
Oh, so you just went crazy.
I
Yeah,
started emailing everybody. Like
yeah.
you get capped at a certain amount, but I kept on because I'm like,
more than the
I
regular.
gotta get the money.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But then with us, you're paying us.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to get the? When we're telling you this, what you need to do, you know what I'm saying? Like it's wild to me. Sometimes.
That's a great statement. I want to say this though. I want to say that it's almost as if we use the CEO mentality, right? Like I'm a CEO. I have 3 platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a CEO that works with the team. Like I tell, like today, right? I said I'm doing marketing today, guys. So I was up till 8 o'clock last night on Slack. Blah, blah, blah. This is what I need you guys to do. I want to keep the momentum going, right? Because I know I'm not going to be here, but I need you to do that.
Yep.
What happens is that's a working CEO. What happens when I have other CEOs, people that I know that like say, "Oh, I got him. He's supposed to do that." No, bro.
Yep.
No, bro. No, bro. No, we're supposed to do that.
Yes.
And Tony can't be Omar.
Correct.
So the authenticity is going to get lost if you don't stay in there.
Nailed it, yeah.
You can't get diluted. You don't in that, but people get caught up in that. Yo, I paid these guys to do that. They get paid to make something look nice.
Correct.
But that's not who you are.
Yep.
Right. You have to bring that special sauce.
We can't 100% be that person.
Right.
Never. And
Right.
like the best account I will ever run is my own account.
Right.
I can never do what I do for myself. Even if you paid me $500,000 a year in my pocket, Tony,
Right.
you're going to be. I'm the only person you work for. Just you, Tony. You manage my page personally.
Right.
I still could not get them the same result that I did because it's not me.
Right.
I don't know who they actually want to connect with. Like you can tell me your target, but I might find your target and it literally may not fit your criteria because I don't know the nuances of your target. You know what I'm saying?
Or the industry.
Yeah.
Right? It's like me asking you to do mortgage stuff. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What?
You give me high level stuff and
You're
we
like
can go off the high
you're
level
like
stuff. but you're the
DSCR.
nuance.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know what that
Like,
is.
what is that?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Like comments. Comments is a great example. Like if
Yeah.
I'm doing a mortgage pages, a mortgage broker's page, and they're getting comments about mortgage stuff,
You can't reply. You don't know.
can't reply, so we have to hit them up. Hey, did you guys got a comment? Would
sure.
you want us to answer, or would you want to handle that one? Because we're managing, so we'll answer comments, but on the industry level stuff, we literally cannot. And DMs too. I think this is a good example. When we're managing people, we send out DMs for them actively. For people that have businesses, we'll try to connect with people, try to get them business. Sometimes just a welcoming message. Maybe it's a discount code. There's customers that we have, and every customer knows. Once we send them the DM, when it comes back in, that's you. You have to answer them because we cannot
We
pretend
can't
to be
answer for
you.
you.
We're
We
not
can't
customer
answer for you
service. We
either.
can't answer for you.
Right,
We're not
right.
internal. We don't know what you want to say, how you
What
want to
you're
be
willing
portrayed.
to do. Right.
Yeah, how you willing to type. Maybe you don't like emojis. I've had attorneys that told us no emojis in the captions. So I want to get sued over them. I said, what? So it's like you hear some crazy stuff.
None of that eggplant shit.
Yeah. Only peaches. You know, it's just wild though. It's
That is
like
crazy.
you get the DM to come in and it's like, oh, you guys aren't going to answer that? It's like, what do you mean? Like all you have to do is answer an inbound thing coming
They
in
were
for
asking
business.
legislative advice, sir. I can't answer that for you, bro. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's
So I know
just
that
beyond my
background.
pay grade, bro.
Yeah. You know, and like you said, it's a relationship.
But
It's
that
a
becomes
partnership.
that's the thing. So like we're having this conversation. I'm trying to help maybe demystify certain things because they think, hey, social media manager, yo, you do everything,
Yeah.
and I'm good. And I'm like, nah, man, because you're just trying to amplify who you are,
Correct.
and good or bad, it's gonna come through, and good or bad will be the results you get back.
100%.
So like if your follow through sucks, it's gonna suck.
It's gonna suck.
If
If your product sucks,
your product sucks, they're gonna find out faster.
100%. That
Right.
can't fall on. Oh, I'm getting returns.
Yeah.
Well, that should tell you something about the product, not us. You know,
Right.
you're getting the sale, but if you're getting the return back,
That's not on us.
That's not on us. That's what you got going on. Oh, the customers aren't good though.
The customers.
I've heard
that's
that.
a great statement.
They'll
Really?
blame the customer. Oh, you're not giving me the right quality customer.
Oh.
It's like that's interesting. It's interesting. Never heard that before. So it's
These clients suck.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else with that.
I need the right client. These clients aren't the right way.
Yeah,
Even though they're like, you know what I'm saying? Like for product stuff, it's wild. It's crazy the stuff you'll hear because, like you said, there's acting CEOs, and that's a good point. There's working CEOs and there's not working CEOs.
Right,
And the ones that aren't the working CEOs,
the problem
that's when you see
becomes
it.
the problem becomes that and this is another thing that gets me. And I guess I'm ranting on CEO shit because
This is great though.
I've been seeing a lot of shit. I'm like, I want to put my team in place. So they don't have to work anymore.
Yeah. Oh my
Nigga,
goodness.
what?
What do you mean? So I
How
don't
you
have to
think
work
you got
anymore?
here? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm talking to the camera. How you think you got here? Because of you. Nobody, and you said it, will work like you for you.
You'll be lucky if you get a 75% to 80% out of anyone else for your own business.
But forget it.
If that.
What about your fanatics?
Oh,
the
impossible.
guys that only fuck with you because it's you.
Yeah.
You lose them.
You see this. You see this most, I believe, in the restaurant industry.
Okay.
Restaurant owner,
The chef.
the chef owner
Yep.
of a restaurant. People go. Yeah, granted for the food, but they want to see that owner in the restaurant
relationship.
because he comes over, he kisses them hello, he gives them a drink on the house, a cannoli on the house.
Well, going back
the
to
kids.
to expand on that, what happens is with customer service, clients just want to feel special, and it doesn't mean you have to kiss their ass all the time.
You're right.
But acknowledge them.
Yes.
You know, they can spend their money anywhere.
Yes.
They're spending it with you.
100%.
So just be grateful for that, because some people, you know, like I guess as you climb up and up in the ladder and you're in the billies and stuff, like you start feeling yourself. But that can all go away.
100%. Listen, and I think the people that came from nothing that understand and respect that game the most.
Well, I think we're the people that are so. Well, I tell my kids this all the time. Like I hate that shit so much, being broke, that I wake up every morning because I want to stay away as far away from that needle as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I tell my kids all the time, look, I gotta wake up every morning and go to work, so I'm not wealthy yet.
Yeah.
The day I could just be like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna stay in the pool today.
You're right.
Then that's another level. That's another level there.
100%.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And I think you bring up a good point too, like, you know, like the billionaires, like that's a different level.
Yeah.
Most of us aren't playing on that level, but you got to respect and understand the people that, like this is how I look at it too. And you know, it's funny. So I did get into a full-time job a little bit in between graduating college and going full-time for YNIU.
Okay.
And
What was it, engineer? Oh,
construction. I was a project manager. I had the engineering degree, but what happened was I wanted to work for a construction company. This was after real estate because I wanted to learn as I buy properties for investments. I just want to have basic understanding of fixing stuff so I don't get screwed by a contractor.
Right.
So my business partner Mike, he worked for a contracting company in college for a few months. They were local in Yonkers. I didn't want to commute to the city. So he was like, I'll connect you to them, see if they're a good fit. So I go over to them. I say, hey, listen, I know social media. I've been doing it for about 2-3 years at this point in time. I can do your social for you guys, help you, and then you guys, I just want in return to teach me
barter.
how to build. Yeah, pretty much. And I can be a project manager. I have my engineering degree. You can throw me on a site, teach me what I got to do. I don't know anything, but you know, you show me around. At least I'd be an extra body.
I have the ability to learn this shit. I have a degree.
Correct. And I can do your social media, which I know you guys don't know how to do. So they're like, done, you're hired. So I started working with them, really good guys, Mike and Corey. Corey ended up having some, you know, nuances and differences with the company. He split as a partner, and the company kind of pretty much fell on me and Mike at the time. And me as a 22-year-old kid out of college, I had to front some money for some of the jobs so we can close them out. So the team got paid because, you know, it was like 15 workers at all the families. I was like, well, shit, this is a little bit bigger than me.
Right.
So I fronted it. And then me and Mike, that owner, we got really close. And then I started getting some sales out in the city by going to cigar lounges to get bigger contracting jobs.
Nice.
And we just became closer and closer and building. And then, you know, I ended up quitting full-time to work for YNIU Media in February 2019.
Okay.
And when I told him, he had another partner at the time, and they were both so supportive because they're both entrepreneurs. You know, they're younger guys in their 30s, like mid-30s, late 30s.
They understand the hustle.
They understood the hustle, and they were like, whatever we can do to help you along the way, let us know, and you always have a spot here back with us. And they are now currently one of my clients, ironically enough.
Cool.
And while I was working with them, I picked up my first few clients because they were my subcontractors on the job site.
Ah.
And one of the guys, the very first client we had that paid us was Picasso's hardware flooring installer.
Was that Long Island?
Yep, Alan Long Island does the Hamptons. So he does all the hardwood floor in the Hamptons. And when he came to us, he was my subcontractor on the site. Good dude, guy from Brazil, hardworking. You know, all his cousins work for him. And it kept him in business. Yep, family-run business. It's like 9 guys. And they did great work. And like I said, really humble, really cool dude. And he found me on Instagram. He's like, Tone, you got like 25,000, 30,000 followers at the time. You're a fucking celebrity.
Fucking celebrity, bro.
Yeah. I was
fucking
like,
famous.
I was like, what, out of your mind? I was like, no. He's like, can you help me?
Yeah.
And he had 34 followers at the time. I said, yeah, sure. So he cut me a check for $500 for 3 months of work. And that was the money we used to start our LLC, become an official corporation.
Okay.
And from then to now, he has over now 240,000 followers and done over $2 million worth of business through the DMs.
Beautiful.
In 3 years, makes February.
Beautiful.
Wild.
Success story on both sides.
Wild, yeah. He calls me all the time. We talk all the time, and he's like, "You've changed my life."
That's
like
dope.
social media has officially changed his life. He's hired 8 more people. He gets brand and sponsorship deals from like the gluing companies. He doesn't have to pay for them anymore. Just post the glue that he uses.
Yeah. What happens is, I believe, is as things start to evolve and things start to happen through social media, and you take advantage of the opportunities, your belief becomes conviction, right? And once you're convicted, nobody can tell you shit. Like, you can't tell me shit. I've made a couple of hundred already off of DMs. This shit works.
It works, 100%.
So
once you see it work,
whatever,
it
man.
works.
Good luck. You know, like, but it goes back to the other story where I was telling you is that it's a supplement to an already existing business.
Correct.
You can't stop what you do.
Correct.
on your day to day.
It's a partnership. Like you have to work within it. Like you do your stories, your day to day stuff. Like if you're not doing that, you're not going to get the full social gain.
Right.
You still might get something, and it might take you longer. That's what you got to look at. Like you have to just have that expectation. Like if you're not going to do everything, you're not going to get the total result.
Right.
You know, I think a lot of people just miss that mark because they really believe social media is if I'm going to do it, I'm going to pay for it. It should be an instant result.
Yeah.
Which is just so far from the truth. It's taken me so long to get to where I am.
Well, let's go. I mean, we can unpack that statement a little bit too. Like, so what happens is the new generation is used to Amazon. I order, I get it right now.
Yeah.
Right now. So
Instant.
I paid you. Tomorrow, I want 1 million followers.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
it's crazy how it sounds right now, me saying it out loud, but it's the truth. People don't understand. Yo, you're going to retain us for a year. The first 3-4 months, we're probably going to have to build you out a little bit because nobody knows shit about you and we have no footage of you.
Yeah, literally.
You know? Yeah. Well, I'm explaining. I know the system. I know the process I'm using is my own process.
Yep.
The first 4 months will be just, kind of giving a little color. Fuck that. First year.
Yeah.
Because here you are, who you are, what you do, what you represent. It becomes these pillars that you have to kind of share constantly.
Constantly.
How many times? I've been doing this for about 3 years now. I would say maybe now in year 3, maybe people have a clearer picture of what I do.
Yeah.
You know how many times I get, yo, what do you do?
Yeah. You know how many times I get that?
What, dick?
Exactly.
I've been doing this shit for 2 years.
I've done all this content for you.
Look at this video.
I have people asking me, where do you live? Bro, it's in my fucking bio. Where do I live? It says New York. What do you, like, I don't understand.
Where are you from?
Where are you from? Like, I'm not going to answer you. I'm sorry, my guy. Like, you're coming into my DM. Like, come on.
But it goes to show you how fucking nullified people kind of are. Like, they want everything right here.
Yeah,
right
given,
here.
Given. It's insane to me. Like I said, and the craziest thing to me that I see is we're talking about sometimes business owners. Like, business owners have built businesses by doing different things. Because, listen, you got to be a special type of person to have your own business and to run it. You're taking risks. You're a smarter dude. You know people. You have something going on to have
Every
a
day's
business.
not promised. Every day you wake up, you got to go get it.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And then to see the mentality when it comes to social media is just completely derailed from what their mentality is and everything else. It's like that's not justifiable.
Who's the easier client to work with? The younger entrepreneur or the older entrepreneur? And when I mean older, let's go. I'm going to give you like actual brackets. So I don't want to say 18 because no offense.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of people making millions of dollars with Ethereum and all that, and NFTs, but we're not talking about you yet. You're still young in the game. Let's say a 25 to 35 year old, a 35 to 45, and a 45 to 55, because those are really big dynamic decades.
So those are probably the years the most business we do is from the 25 to 50-year-old range.
Okay.
None of them are different. They're all literally the same level of lack of social media knowledge, believe it or not. So from that 25 to 35, they don't know anything more than the 35 to 45, believe it or not.
Really?
And I was shocked by this too, because I'm 27.
Right.
I'm in it. But granted, I'm also in it because of my business, whereas a lot of these guys, even they're 25, 26, they're not in it because they're high producing on their level of what they're doing in the industry. So they're so into what they do that social media was an afterthought, and they have a larger natural following because they may have 1,000, 2,000 of their personal friends because they've been doing Instagram through high school and college. Yeah. But they've never done anything business wise. They don't know anything as they know as much as the 45 to 50-year-old knows about social media for business specifically. Okay. And it's interesting to see because sometimes I'm like with the 35-year-old, you're not that much older than me, and you don't understand at all about social. And that just goes to show like the lack thereof of them trying to begin with, which is fine, but it's just an educational process where at least they know how to use the app and the platform. And then we have some clients that never had the Instagram app.
Really?
Is it like Google?
You have to create them.
I have to teach what Instagram. I have to create the account for them.
Right.
Download the app on their phone for them.
Explain to them.
Teach them it's not like
happens.
Google. This is what happens. It takes time. This is in 1 month. Blah blah blah. All the type of stuff that we go into.
SEO searches, all that stuff.
Everything. And you have no content. It'll take at least 3 months to have some content on the page.
It's a whole different fucking language. Like you talk to me about asset-based lending or DSC, like I know all that shit, right? So it took me a while. Like I knew I wanted to do it, and when I started doing it, I started because you become invested in, like, going back to what I told you. When I spend money, I pay attention.
100%.
When you pay attention, right? Yep. So I was like, oh, how does this work and how does that? And then I just tried to get better at it myself, not to replace anybody, but because I wanted to know for myself, like how can I, like, the only way to master something is to become aware of it, and then becoming aware of it, and through definitely progression and usage becomes the way you master it. So do your clients want to master it, or do they just like you just do your thing?
They want to have success with it. That's what I should say. I don't think the word's mastering it. Right. I have some clients that have great results because they dive deeper into what they should be doing as well. Okay. So they're doing more stories than the other clients.
They're contributing.
They're answering immediately when the DM comes in. They're contributing ideas more than the regular client is. And then I have some clients that literally don't even look at the app. once we take over.
Right.
And unfortunately to say, these are some, like we have some large companies, like billion-dollar companies that we work with, and those are the ones that typically do that. Because they're just like, I'm paying you, just get it done, I don't care. And it's like, you're not going to get a great result out of that because we physically cannot be that business or that brand. We're just not an in-house worker that's with you all day.
Right.
So the result comes better to the people that are a little bit on the younger side because they're a little bit more willing to take out their phone and do more things. Not to say some older clients that we have also been able to do that, but definitely less than the younger side of it. And it's just, like I said, it's just very interesting to see how much they're willing to do because they're not looking to master it. They're looking to use it as a vehicle to gain more business and to increase their brand. If they can do things to help amplify that while we're doing it, some of them take advantage of that. Some of them are just fully backed away from, hey, we're hiring you, just take care of all of it, we trust you, do your thing, we'll do it for 2 years. And then they'll do it for 2 years and see what happens, right? And then there's also that conversation of what's the goal? Is your goal just increased awareness over 2 years? Is your goal direct leads over 2 years? Like, what's your goal? So we figure that out.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we got to figure that out before we even start. We do like a little strategy session to figure out all the nuances.
Well, that's great that you do that because a lot of people, I believe, they don't really understand what they want to be known for yet.
Correct, they don't.
That becomes the thing.
We have to help them find out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We help. I do a lot of business consulting within my social media strategy consulting.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't know what they even need to have in their business, set down tentatively that is going to be able to help them with social. And this goes to like sales process. Are you facilitating reviews? You've been in business for 13 years. You have 7 Google reviews. Like that can't be real. You got 1,000 customers a year.
Yeah.
Like little things like that. You have to teach them. Or do you have a email? You do an email list. You do text messaging marketing. These are things you can do. Do you do discounts during the holidays? What's your follow up system like? Do you have an employee for this? Do you use these apps? And it becomes a much more deeper, immersive dive. And I'm giving them a lot of stuff they need for their business. And sometimes we'll walk away after a strategy session and it's like, hey, we're not a good fit to work with you right now. You don't need to pay us.
You're not set.
You're not ready yet.
Right.
You don't need to pay. I'm not going to take your money unless you should be spending it for something I know you can get a result out of.
Right.
And I've turned down business for that. I'll never take someone's money that I don't think actually should be spending it and that we can help them.
Okay.
And I've gotten a lot of business because of that. I've had one guy, he was a big electrical contractor in the Hamptons. This is just like a good lesson in general if you're a business owner, I think. And we're sitting down and he was like, listen, I went to a bunch of companies and they told me to redo my website. It's going to cost me anywhere from like $7 to $12 grand. I was like, let me take a look. So I take a look. I was like, oh, it's pretty nice. I was like, how much business have you gone through your website? And he goes, not a single deal ever. I said, okay, well, you should not do your website at all. I was like, this is more than enough. It shows who you are. I was like, what business are you going to get by just redoing your site?
Yeah.
He goes,
I don't know.
Yeah. I was like, don't do it then. He goes, really? He goes, you're going to charge me? I was like, I don't think you should pay anyone to do this, including myself. I was like, I have to take your money, but I'm not going to charge you. I can't do this.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And he respected it. He ended up referring me to other clients out on the island because of that. Okay. And they were large time customers. Just because he was like, I respect that Tony was very honest with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That goes further than, hey, I'm going to take it. Even if you told me 7 to 12, maybe I'll come in at 55 just to get the deal, which I've seen a lot of people do. And I can wrap that deal up, no problem. $5,500 to him was nothing. It's not like it would have hurt him, but it's a morality thing. It's like, I know what I'm doing for you is not going to help you.
It's an integrity thing.
Correct. And a lot of people don't have that nowadays.
Like me as an OG, I would say that's a big thing. No, it is. It is because I deal with people that are not on social, and they deal with me because they know that I respect their privacy and they know I put their needs ahead of my, yo, I got you.
Yep.
Like one guy's telling me, yo, we're good.
Yep.
We're good.
Got you. Yep.
Relax.
When I said I got you.
I got you. Just relax. And they're like, okay, can I sleep tonight? These are real conversations. Like, yeah, man, you're good, man. We're gonna close. 100%. You're gonna be fine. But people like I said, going back to authenticity, where people are doing things on Instagram where it's not really them, you can kind of see through that.
Yep.
It becomes the whole thing when you meet them in person. You're already fighting a losing battle. If you're not authentic on Instagram or any social media platform for that matter, it's hard to fight that when somebody sees it and they already have these predisposed notions of you.
Yeah, who
right?
they think you are already.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I've seen that, man. I've seen that a few times meeting with other people, and I'm like, wow, it's not like you, man. What's going on? No, that's, it's for the gram. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, you're right. That's it's for the gram. It's like that's not good. There's nothing should be for the gram and not for the gram. It should be everything.
Yeah, it should be fluid.
Yeah.
100%.
You want to laugh, and this is something that I don't know. You definitely knew me at this time, but I don't know if you remember this. I went out to California.
Okay.
Back in September 2019. It was the first time I've been out there. I got flown out there to be on TV to talk. And while I was out there,
California show or something. Like,
yes,
the morning show type of. Yeah, I remember.
So I was out there. I had a buddy that I went to Fordham Prep with. He moved out there. His uncle owns 11 bars and clubs out in California. Nightlife.
Right.
So he's like, why don't you just make a little long weekend out of it? We'll get an Airbnb together. I'll show you all around Cali. We'll meet my uncle. We'll go to his restaurants. We'll have a good time. Okay, cool. I'm in. So we go out, and the first night we were out there, we went to a gay nightclub. And I'm obviously a straight guy. He's a straight guy. But his uncle owns the second largest gay nightclub in California. And his partner's Lance Bass from NSYNC. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
So I got to meet Lance Bass. And he goes, listen, it's right on Hollywood Boulevard, I believe. Right on the corner. I forget. Or Sunset Boulevard. That's where it is. So on the corner. and it's beautiful outdoor. We have a table. We'll do bottle service a Saturday night or Friday night. And I was like, you sure? Like, you know, he goes, trust me.
It's legit, man.
Yeah. It's like, he's like, listen, straight women go to gay bars to get away from straight guys like us. I was like, okay, this is an interesting thought.
Right.
I'm intrigued. I'm down. Let's
I'm
go. We'll try it out. Smoke cigars outside. He goes, yeah. Okay, like, good. I'm in. Sold.
Yeah, that's all I need.
So we go over there, and sure enough, there were 2 straight women that came over. They were running away from guys at a different bar, and one of them came up to me, and she goes, you look like a Tony from New York. I said, I am a Tony from New York.
Yeah.
So we got to talking.
Good
and
guess.
I was like, great guess. I mean, literally smoking a cigar. She's like, you look like a Tony from New York. I'm like, yeah, that's me. So we're talking. I'm like, so what are you doing? She's like, I'm a porn star. So I laugh. I'm like, me too. And then her friend comes over. She's like, oh, I'm a porn star too. And I'm like, oh, I was completely kidding.
You're like,
I
for
do social
real?
media. Yeah. She's like, yeah, one of my. She goes, yeah, I have a really big presence, and you know, one of my fans saw me in a different bar, and he kept stalking us. So I wanted to come here to get away. So they got away. So the girls ended up coming back with me, my friend. And the girl that I was talking to, the blonde one that came up to me, she was brand new to California. She moved there 5 days ago to just start her porn career.
Wow.
So we're having a good time at the house, like for the weekend. They would stay with us for the weekend, and while we were there, we play music, we're pre-gaming to go out. And this was all, I had my Instagram and stuff. I was starting the business. I went full time February. This is now September, so 7 months into the business. And I posted on the story. My friends I took a shot from her tits, and then she kisses me. And I was hesitant to put that on my story at first, and I did put it on my story. And they ended up getting shared like 800 times. Most shared story I ever had. My DMs absolutely blew up.
It still.
I got more. I still have DMs I haven't answered from then.
Wow.
And I got hundreds of DMs, hundreds, and all positive stuff. And the reason I did that, I did it intentfully, because I said to myself, listen, I'm at the time I was 24-year-old kid. If I go out and an attractive female offers me a shot at her tits, I'm going to take it in the bar. And I'm not going to be the type of guy that's going to be fearful, like, oh, what if someone in the bar knows me and records that I'm doing this?
Yeah, you're 24. Who cares?
That's my mentality. So I said, you know what? I'm showing. Yeah, no, 100%. I'm showing everything I do already. So for me not to show this, and then it happens, and then it backfires because I never showed something like that.
Yeah.
So that's my mentality with it. And that just goes to show, like, you want to do stuff that you're doing offline, but you want to show it online, because it sets the expectation of who you are and who I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And I got a lot, and because of that, I ended up losing one client. It was an older woman in Westchester. She was a realtor. She didn't have any money to pay anyway, so it was whatever. But she's like, I don't like the brand you represent. And in my head, I'm like, you're gonna tell me no one ever taken a shot from your tits? Like, this is not realistic. Like, you went to college, So that was the mentality there, and it just goes to show, like, whoever you are, you need to be that person on social. Like, just don't be someone different.
Be authentic.
Don't try to hide. I get it. If you're doing illegal shit, fine. I get it. You hide that type of stuff. But
You shouldn't be on the ground with that anyway, dumbass.
yeah. Like my
Yo,
example,
man, I'm doing it. What the hell?
What the hell? Exactly. My example is very extreme, and I get it. But that just goes to show. And I'm someone that had a following at that time. That's why I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. Like, you still want to be you. And if you're doing something in public or in person that you think this is weird to show for maybe for charity stuff, I don't know, it could be anything. Like, don't fret. Like, people are gonna still gravitate towards you because now you're more authentic self online.
I used to think, I used to overthink certain things, and now I don't. And my reasoning for that is, who cares?
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Like, because honestly,
But how do you get to that point? Because I feel like a lot of people have that challenge of, how do I get to the point of thinking, who cares?
going back to when we first started, was saying, all right, I want people that want to fuck with me, people that are like me and understand me, and
Anything else?
that's it.
That's it.
Because we're not gonna get along anyway.
You're right. That's true.
Unless you all right, look, let me say this to the camera. Unless you really need me, I'll help you, and then we don't have to talk afterwards.
Yeah.
Like,
if that's what you want.
I've had clients that we're not talking anymore.
Yeah.
Very, very bad experiences, but I got you closed.
You got your clothes.
Yeah.
It's part of business, though. To be fair, it's business. It's life. It's anything.
Yeah,
100%. You're not gonna have 100%.
No, you're
positive.
not gonna have 100% love.
If you do, you're not trying hard enough.
Right,
I feel
right.
like
You deal with all kinds, and then sometimes
True
you
colors come out.
You got to be professional always, and but you just like I was told this a long time ago, and it's really to my heart. If you don't want to have the same bad experience, don't put yourself in the same position. And that, to me, that made so much sense.
Great,
it was like, boom, I was like, word.
Yeah.
So like, all right, I'm gonna finish this up, man. And then they'll call, yo, I don't do that anymore. I don't do those type of loans anymore. I'm sorry, I can't help you.
That's great.
Because you just don't want to be there anymore. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Again, this is me 15 years in the game, establishing myself.
Comes with experience.
In the beginning, the first year in the game, I'll do anything.
100%.
I was talking to this kid the other day, and I was like, I remember my first loan was $108,000. It was, and I remember the client's name. I remember where I was.
Yeah.
You always remember the beginning.
It's like me, Picasso, first client. Yeah.
There you go. You remember them.
Yep.
You remember them, and they stay with you. And as you grow, you can become, if you have a good service, you can then start kind of identifying your key client.
Yes.
And gravitating towards that and directing your energies to that.
Yeah.
You'll help anybody, but like you'll identify your niche if you do it enough.
Correct.
You'll see what you're kind of good at, and who you're good at dealing with. There's like certain types of finances or certain types of. I'll give you an example. Spanish people. I speak Spanish.
Yep.
It's a wrap. That's it. They talk to me. They can talk to anybody else.
Yeah.
Luis Omar? That's it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. They're like, yo, I don't care. I'm doing it with you, and I'm gonna find you. And they're fanatical, man. To a point though, it gets a little crazy sometimes. You're like, look, I don't think I can do. No, you can do
you
it.
have to.
You
I
can
need you to do it. Yeah.
No, please. I'll be in your office. They're like, no, I'm not there. I see you on Instagram. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, it gets crazy.
That's what brought you the ass. Yeah.
It gets crazy. It gets crazy. I saw your story this morning. You're there. I saw your car in the parking lot. Like, oh shit. Yeah. Yeah, that is the crazy part.
I've had a bunch of people pop up on me. That's why I always post my stories after I leave somewhere. Yeah, I saw you. I popped up. Hey, shit, I don't know you, man. Like, I know you from Instagram.
Absolutely.
A little weird. Give me a heads up.
That's the crazy part. That's the crazy part of the power of social media.
It's an interesting part of it. You know, like you said, it's the power of it. You know, that's the scary part, especially if you're a female listener and you're like a model. Yeah. That's where it gets a little hairy. Like, we've done some accounts and we've seen like the crazy stuff that could happen. You gotta be a little careful. Like I said, I post stuff after I leave most of the time.
You gotta be smart. Yeah.
Because you just gotta be smart. You never know who's creeping up. Oh, that's Tony's car. You know, it's fucking. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. You gotta be smart. You know. Yeah. I've heard some crazy stories. People, you know, breaking into houses and cars because people posting on social.
Well, if I go too much into it, that's what happened to that rapper kid, Pop Smoke.
Yeah, you're right.
He posted. And they came and
then boom.
They killed
Next thing we know, here we are.
That's the crazy part. Well, so you know, Instagram is a tool, or social media is a tool, but like any tool, it takes responsibility, and you can't blame it.
Yeah, don't be stupid. Like just don't be stupid. Like don't post fucking like legitimately in front of your house with your address showing, and like, hey, here's a bunch of cash. Like I'm just outside. You're like, don't do stupid shit like that.
You're looking for problems.
Yeah, you're looking for stuff. You know, just be smart, but be you.
Yeah.
Bottom line, just be you, man. Like that's gonna be the easiest. To me, it's the easiest thing to do. For a lot of people, it's the hardest thing for them to come to realization, which is being themselves.
I think that comes from a lot from insecurity. And the truth of the matter is that, you know, I'll say this to the camera, is that they're going to find out anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
You're right. You're not doing yourself a favor.
Just go with it, man. Just go with it. Like there's no, and honestly, the things that you think people might judge you for, you probably don't care because they have a lot of shit going on too.
That's one of the biggest things. Like when we're doing content for customers, one of the biggest things that we'll get, like, I wouldn't say like critiques on, or like edits, I guess, so to say, about the content we're making for them. Little nitpicky things. It's like, hey, we get it. We'll make the edits for you, no problem. But I just want you to understand these things no one cares about but you because it's you.
Right.
Oh, I have a little piece of hair sticking out, you know, the females especially.
Bro,
no one's not going to work with you because your piece of little hair
I've been like, yo, can you slim that waist up a little bit? And I'm like, you know what? You go to the gym, stop playing games. Exactly. It's not the camera, it's you. Exactly.
I'm like, listen, just because you're in the same outfit for 4 videos, no one's not going to do business because of that.
Right after COVID, when COVID was at its height, I must have gained like 50 pounds.
Okay.
Because you're nervous, right? She's like, I'm a nervous eater. I just fucking eat it. Then we did some content. I'm like, damn, fat boy. I was like, yo, stop, man. I was like, all right, man. So I was like, the shirts don't fit right. I was like, no. And I said this, I was like, oh, it's not the shirts. It's not the shirts. It's accountability. Great. It's accountability. You got to be real. You got to be real.
That's what it is. Most people don't want to do that, though. Yeah. It's hard.
Well, if you want millions of followers, you're going to have to be real because you're going to be looking at yourself a lot and people are going to be looking at you.
People are going to be looking at you.
Yeah. And you got to be okay with your own skin.
It's a responsibility, man. It's a pressure. Like, even when I'm out in public, like, I can't slack off anymore. I get recognized in public so often.
Well, because you're a public figure now at this level, right?
Weird to say, weird to think, but like, you know, back in 3 years ago, you know, go out of the house, hair no done, you know,
nobody knew.
Holes in the sweatpants, no one knows you're a fucking regular kid, you know, it doesn't matter. Now, I go out, I got to be ready to, God forbid, I see people run into you. Never know now.
The big thing is that, you know, you represent your brand,
correct?
Right? And I think you talk about that all the time on Instagram, representing your brand, and you got to rep yourself.
All day long, every day. All I wear is why not you stuff, you know, all the time.
You got to rep yourself, and you got to take pride in it. And they say, there's a saying like, look good, feel good, be good.
Yeah.
Same concept.
100%.
You know? Like, when I have a big meeting, sometimes I'll wear a suit.
Yeah.
Now, later on in my career, I could be wearing flip-flops, bro. And I have the same swag. But in the beginning it was easier, right? It was easier to kind of like turn the switch on a business.
Yeah.
And like I said, after you're doing it so long, it's just natural. It's just natural. It's just you're like, yo, this is all right.
I'm always on. You're always on.
Yeah, I could wear whatever I want. Look, what's the deal? Let me hear it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I could be I've been at the beach in Cancun.
Yeah.
Guy from like whatever, Maryland will be like, yo, man, you do loans, right? I'm like, yo, my man. All right, man, hold on. Put my drink down.
That's good.
It's happened.
Yeah.
It's happened. And that's the cool thing. But I think that's built with experience.
Yes.
And experience is built upon repetition.
100%.
That's what people don't understand. Like, you got to start somewhere, and you got to keep doing it.
You got to keep doing it.
You got to keep doing it. Even when, like, yo, sometimes it's like you're like, I don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
You got to.
That's when you have to do the most.
Yeah, you got to.
Like, I put up a story. What's the number one word you would describe that to help you achieve success, something like that. And a lot of people put consistency, and I didn't agree with that answer. And you see me all the time, I'm always talking about consistency. Consistency won't make you successful. And the reason I say this is, if you're being consistent doing the wrong things, you're not going to achieve the success you want. What you need is discipline.
Right.
And discipline is getting done what needs to get done.
Even when you don't feel like
even
it.
when you don't feel like it. And that's how you become successful. It's not consistency, because you can do the wrong thing all day long, every single day.
Right.
You're like a hamster wheel. It's going in a circle. But discipline is doing what you know needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing that. That's going to get you to the level you want to be.
Absolutely, man. I think that's the greatest way we can end this podcast today.
I agree.
Discipline. So, Tony, where can people find you if they want to talk about maybe social media management, maybe business consulting, or have a cigar?
Yeah. So you guys can find me on Instagram at Tony Peck, TonyPEC_. You can also find me on YouTube, Tony Peck, TonyPEC. Make sure to subscribe to Omar on YouTube, by the way.
And Tony.
Me, of course.
Yeah.
Give me a little love.
Subscribe to everybody.
Subscribe to everybody. But like I said, guys, if you guys have any questions about anything, or you just want to create the relationship, ask me any ideas or tips. If you're in different states or locally, want to grab a cigar, shoot me a DM. I try to get back to everyone as soon as I can. If I don't answer you back right away, don't feel bad. Ping me again. I don't get annoyed. I don't get bothered. But that's what I'm here for. So,
all right, and guys, do a new thing. Please, in the comments below, let me know if you want to have me to have Tony back on the show and what you would like us to discuss. Thanks a lot.